Hey, happy Wednesday, everybody. Mark again here, Weatherman Plus. Now, I'm going to put timestamps in this video because not only am I covering the severe weather we have for today and tomorrow, tornado threat, as well as damage in winds and hail. Plus, hurricane season is not over. If you're from my channel, you already know later in the 20s of October through the beginning of November, we have some more waves coming our way that we need to prepare for, keep our eye on. If you've never been here before, you might want to subscribe because I do stay ahead of the weather pattern. Now, I need your help today, everybody. All I can do is bring you the information. It's up to you to share this information to others, warn them of the weather that is coming, as well as alert other people, not just your friends, even your enemies. You can turn people around that hate you so much just by showing a little compassion, a little love, before you know it, you're friends and not enemies. So help me alert others to what is going on, not only with severe weather, as well as what's going left on our hurricane season. Thank you so much for your help. Now let's get into the video. Now first, let's go through who has severe weather from National Weather Service for today and tomorrow. Remember, these links are in the description. The information does change throughout the day, so it does help you stay alert to the updates. Now, it has updated for the weather for today. It is for stronger winds and more chances of hail. We do have a nasty squall line that's still coming down towards southern Arkansas, northern Louisiana, Mississippi, could go into Alabama as well. And we still have that 2% of a tornado threat for today. So the tornado threat for today is Columbus, Ohio, Memphis, Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, Cincinnati, Ohio, and Louisville, Kentucky. Now that is just some of the larger cities. You can also see it is for Mississippi, it is for Arkansas, northern Louisiana, and portions of Alabama as well. Matter of fact, the nasty squall line bringing the hail and the potential damage and winds is right here for Arkansas and Mississippi and Louisiana. So that is definitely something you should look at for your tornado threat for today. And your severe weather outlook for tomorrow. You do have the marginal still in the northeast, and it is a little chance for tornadoes. You have a 2% chance for tornadoes as this storm system goes up on a high ridge. You have chances for wind, but no chances for hail. So for Thursday, tornado threat is Baltimore, Maryland, Washington, D.C., Richmond, Virginia, Arlington, Virginia, and Alexandria, Virginia. As it comes down later this afternoon, mostly around 2 p.m., it starts getting really strong dew points in the south. And this is some strong dew points. This is in the high 60s to 70s. And this is what's going to bring your tornado threat for today. You see how they have this strong line of high 60s, even 70s, as it carries down from Arkansas to Mississippi all the way to the south. But these storms will go all evening long, especially over the southeast. You have strong dew points over there as well. But as it goes up to the northeast for tomorrow, you can see why you have just a small area for a tornado threat, because your dew points are not really anywhere else, just along the coast. But they are strong enough to support some tornadic activity if you have the lift, if you have the shear going on. But when you look at your lift, remember, this is high resolution rapid refresh, the best high resolution model there is. You can see how it's very weak up here in upper Midwest. That's why it's just regular thunderstorms, chances for hail. But once it comes down to the south, you have a lot of cape, a lot of lift, a lot of potential energy to feed these storms and have them rise up, rotate around, and create not only thunderstorms, but your chances for tornadoes because you have the shear. Then when it goes to the southeast, you can see how your lift is a little bit weaker. So you still have some cells coming through. It will be some thunderstorms. And then for tomorrow, as you go up to the northeast, you can see why it's not that big of a tornado threat. You have some shear going on these cells, but your lift is very weak as well. But the threat is going all the way up towards Ohio Valley. You can see how you have some lift in the region, not as strong as the south, but with the lift. But this is going to bring some damage and wind. So you can see with your shear that you don't have a lot of loose storms ahead of this front, getting a lot of shear on it. But once you go to this afternoon, all this carries down to the south. Look how it explodes with a lot of shear coming on these cells. And this is some good precipitation passing through at that time. And it's getting some shear on those cells. Now, there's not a lot of lift in that region, but there is a little bit of lift. So you do need to pay attention to these storms as they pass by all evening long. Once you hit around 2 p.m., then you're going to have this coming down to the deep south. And this is where the deep south really is going to get some storms. You have some nasty little cells passing through, and they are getting shear on them. See that purple right there? That is indicative to chances for hail. That is a lot of precipitation in that storm as this comes down all afternoon long for western Tennessee, eastern Arkansas, northern Mississippi. And you see how it bows out? That's because you have damage and winds pushing behind it. And this is going, look at that Bowen. This is going towards northern Alabama. You're going to have more cells popping up later in the afternoon, going further down to Arkansas, down northern Mississippi. A lot of pink in there. There's good chances for hail with that, so make sure you are careful for that. This is by 11 o'clock tonight, so there's still a good chance to have some nocturnal tornadoes as the squall line pushes through. Now you can see with the shear that this is getting shear on these cells. You can see obviously there's a lot of damaging winds pushing behind that, and you're getting a lot of winds as well and some shear on the cells in the southeast. But once it starts coming to this afternoon, this is really going to bring all the way down from northern Mississippi down to southern Mississippi, and it's not bringing a whole bunch of rainfall. But these nasty little cells are getting some shear on them as it comes down, so be careful. There is good chances for tornadoes. It's not a huge chance, but you still have that chance for these to turn tornadic for y'all for today, all evening and all night long. And you can see with your lift that you do have lift in this region all afternoon long, and it does go further south once you go later tonight, 9 and 10 o'clock. Then it starts dropping down to the south to early a.m. Thunderstorms and possible chances for tornadoes, guys. This is going to be a nasty little system bringing this nasty squall line all evening long for you all. So please prepare for these storms. They are coming. Also, as you go through the morning towards the afternoon, you still got this nasty line of storms moving through Ohio Valley. However, it is not tornadic. It will be regular thunderstorms, chances for damage and winds and hail, which is bad enough as it is. But once it goes through this afternoon, then it starts bringing all this damaging winds, a squall line, see that little curve in it, all the way to the east. South Carolina, Alabama, Florida's going to have some thunderstorms rolling over them all afternoon, all night long, all the way to the early a.m. hours, and it will go towards the coast of North Carolina for tonight, while Florida still gets some storms all night long, further and further to the south. But you do have thunderstorms coming to the southeast as well. They are getting some shear on them, but it is not highly tornadic because your cape, your lift is not super strong. Just be aware there will be some strong storms because you are getting some shear on themselves. But when you look at the lift, you can see it's not as strong as the south. You got a lot of blue, but where that blue touches that green is where you have enough lift to support strong thunderstorms and maybe even tornadic activity. But you can see it's not strong like the south, but the southeast, it gets weaker, but you still have storms coming by. Plus, as you go into tomorrow morning, for tomorrow, you see you have some storms coming by the intercoastal northeast. Still nothing tornadic, but once you go towards 8 and 9 o'clock in the morning, you start getting some cells that are passing through, and it goes all evening along further and further towards the New England states. And Euro is seeing this train for hours up here in New England states, bringing some heavy rainfall. But when you look at the shear, you can see that these cells are not getting much shear on them as they pass by. Very weak amount. I definitely see some thunderstorms, chances for hail, but not really a large amount of shear. Some cells passing through New Jersey is getting a little bit of shear, as well as eastern Pennsylvania, but it's not showing highly tornadic with the shear. I'm not seeing the white. The white is usually gives you that signal that there's a lot of shear going on, a lot of chances for rotation, but it's not showing it as far as what HRRR. And HRRR is a good model. And the main thing is when you check your helicity tracks, which just gives you a wind direction change with height, exactly what a tornado is, you can see you're not getting much at all. You get one little trail for northern Virginia. Everything mostly is in the water, so you could see some water spouts. But when you check for long cells in the south, you can see how with helicity tracks you get a lot of strong cells, mostly for eastern Arkansas, southwestern Tennessee, central to northern Mississippi. This is helicity, is your wind direction change with height, so you do have some rotating thunderstorms coming through tonight and chances for these to become tornadic for you. As well as South Carolina. I know you've been told you don't have much coming, but you do have thunderstorms coming through, and you are getting some tracks on these cells, especially near Columbia. You could see some strong thunderstorms. So you do have thunderstorms coming to the southeast as well. You can see what your wind gusts as this system comes through today for the upper Midwest, Ohio Valley. It is bringing 40 and 50 miles per hour wind gusts with it. It's always showed 40 and 50 miles per hour wind gusts. This 70 you see down here has always showed one little area in the higher elevations of Wyoming. So don't let somebody tell you got widespread 60 and 70 miles per hour wind gusts. That is not true. But you do have widespread 40s, even high 40s, and portions of Dakotas eastern Montana, even Nebraska getting into the 50s, portions of Iowa, maybe even a little bit of Minnesota as these storms come through. Definitely by the Great Lakes, but it's showing 40s for a lot of people. But these storms will pass by Michigan today as well. A nasty little band that's coming all the way from where I'm at in Wisconsin, Ohio Valley, but look at Michigan. All afternoon long, you get this nasty front of storms that is passing through. No tornado threat for you, but you got some thunderstorms coming as well. There's a lot of people getting storms today. Michigan, Ohio Valley, Tennessee, Kentucky Valley, the Deep South, as well as the Southeast. And it is bringing a little bit of mixture of snow, not much. In the next 48 hours, HRRR has maybe 1 to 2 inches for northern Wisconsin, northern Minnesota, maybe getting a little heavier as you get towards Canada a little bit. Canada's still getting all the snow on this. The only thing is, though, the winds that's in the Deep South. When you go to look at the wind gusts, according to HRRR, it's not picking up a lot of winds. But it is picking up that when these bands come through, it will bring 50 and 60 miles per hour wind gusts and dial down to the high 40s, maybe the 50s. But you can see where you have some 50s and 60s coming with these storms as it comes towards Arkansas, northern Mississippi, maybe even a little bit of northern Louisiana as it goes into the Gulf, bringing some winds in the Gulf as well. NAM is also agreeing the next 48 hours, like HRRR, not much snow, maybe 1 to 2 inches. But after the 48 hours, it could start piling up a little bit more, maybe getting 3, maybe getting 4 inches of snow for extreme northern Wisconsin and extreme northern Minnesota. Everything is still in Canada. Now, National Weather Service has your rainfall amounts, and it's not showing a whole bunch, but it is showing a lot of heavy rain coming to the Deep South. I know y'all need it. Texas, I know y'all need it as well. I'm showing storms is coming your way. But you see how it picks up for the Northeast, according to National Weather Service. A lot of heavy rainfall coming your way with this system. So whether you get any tornadoes, it's a little iffy. You do have thunderstorms and a lot of rain coming your way. It is starting to add up. Now, Euro shows in 4 days, a little bit away from National Weather Service, that this is really going to start training towards the New England states, the very edge of the Northeast. And it's going to start bringing a lot of heavy rainfall for y'all, not so much for New York and Pennsylvania. It's bringing 1 inches, a little bit of 2 in very secluded areas, but it's bringing heavy rainfall for the Northeast. And after you go 4 days, when this upper level low starts carrying into the South and Southeast, bringing that second storm I've been talking about for a while, it is bringing some possible rainfall towards the Southwest, flash flooding possible, and across Texas as well. So Texas, you do have some rainfall coming. I know y'all need it. It is coming. How much? A little iffy. It's not looking like a whole bunch. However, Euro is showing once you get 4 to 5 days away, this rainfall is going to start coming. And then after that, it is going to start adding up a little bit. So Texas, you do have some rainfall coming. Hopefully this stays true because I know how bad y'all need it. But this is bringing some flash flooding. So you can see for today, you do have flash flooding, especially in the Los Angeles area. It is a marginal for today, but also for the Southeast. This is going to bring some flash flooding to the Southeast, all the way from New Orleans, all the way past Columbia. But once you go towards tomorrow, this is going to bring the flash flooding into the Northeast, and it is going to continue into the New England states. So for tomorrow, you do have the marginal for flash flooding in all of this green, and you have the slight risk for flash flooding in all of this yellow. This is for tomorrow. And this will carry on also as you go from Friday into Saturday. More flash flooding, marginal in the green, slight risk in the yellow for Maine. But once you go to that third day for Friday into Saturday, it will bring more flash flooding back to the Southwest, mostly for the Los Angeles area again. And then for that storm we have next week, as that second punch comes through, it is going to bring a lot of precipitation, possible rainfall for Texas. But it is going to put, just from Sunday going into Monday, the beginning of it, a big slight risk for flash flooding for New Mexico, portions of western Texas, eastern Arizona. And I am expecting this to move over some because Texas is very dry. And if this rainfall shows true on what Euro sees, it could be some flash flooding as well. So I know you need rainfall, so hopefully you get it. Just watch out for the flash flooding. And you can see this with the Euro. So as you look at your 500 millibar vorticity, you see you have this upper level low spinning around, bringing precipitation. But at the same time, you have all this severe weather in front of this big bowling ball coming in. And it will affect the Southeast as it comes down with them nasty squall lines go up towards the northeast after that as well. Then we got the second one that's still coming, and this is bringing severe weather. This is bringing that flash flooding I told you about as you go from Saturday into Sunday, all in front of this. And then as it comes in, it's going to bring it across Texas and across the southeast. It is going to be severe weather for this. There will be a watch out for this. National Weather Service don't like to go too far, but they will put a watch out for this. This is bringing a lot of severe weather for New Mexico and Texas. I know you need the rain, but it's going to bring some severe weather with it as well. And as this goes up on a higher ridge, it's going to bring some more severe weather towards the northeast as well. So next Monday, next week, well, this weekend going into next week, we need to start thinking about this next system coming through after we prepare for this first one, because it's going to still be a 1-2 punch of these storms coming through. Now, next 5 days with the tropics and Atlantic, still not showing anything with National Hurricane Center, but you can see that Carl really isn't doing much. It is bringing some heavy rainfall towards Mexico. You are under a tropical storm watch, but that's all that's coming out of this system. But when you look a little bit further with the global tropics, you can still see from October 19th through October 25th, they are expecting a chance for a tropical depression to form in the eastern Pacific. We have 2 waves of energy passing through. One is going to go into the eastern Pacific. You have this dry air right here from the dust still in the Caribbean. And we have another chance for one forming up in the western MDR. And this is from the 19th through the 25th. And you can see right here on a NASA satellite that once we go from the 17th and 18th, we're getting multiple waves building up in the MDR. If you've been here before, you know about all the lift I showed you coming at the end of October, the beginning of November. Chances for these to form up by the 19th, something coming in the Eastern Caribbean, another one right behind it. So we do need to watch for this hurricane season because it's not over yet. Matter of fact, this portion of the hurricane season is usually where it curves by Jamaica, Cuba, and goes by the southeast and maybe somewhere up the east coast. Now you can see with the Euro, with your precipitous water, that Carl isn't doing it. It's just sitting there and spinning. But you can also see that after Carl leaves out the west into the eastern Pacific and we get this cold front, there's a chance for some surface lows to form up, front induced, and maybe carry over the southeast. And you can see that they are getting a surface low on the system as it passes through the Gulf and goes across the southeast. So we still need to watch these cold fronts. And so we can see what's trending as you look with the Canadian. You see this buildup of this wave comes towards the Central American gyre. Y'all could get another storm, maybe some more heavy precipitation. But it shows it does go towards the eastern Pacific, just like National Hurricane Center, the global tropics, is saying. But at the same time, you see this cold front coming down. One is not showing any front-induced lows like the Euro is showing. It's showing that it will go out to the southeast because usually that's what happens. This time of year, we have storms in this region that go out to the southeast. They don't usually come all the way in. And the GFS, which I know don't say much for this year, and I am with you on that one. It is showing that this first wave will go through Central America and more than likely will go out into the Eastern Pacific. But we do need to watch out for that because that cold front coming down is what pushes it back into the Bay of Campeche and possibly going out to the southeast after that. Between this cold front coming down to the west coast, I'm showing we're going to an extreme dip soon. Also, the cold front is coming to the southeast, so it's doing a lot of blocking. At the same time, it's putting it to where you really don't know where this wave is going to end up going because it has so many steering directions from all of these cold fronts. So I will keep you updated. We do have 2 waves coming, and so far it could be a threat for the Caribbean, maybe even the East Coast. But you can see here, normally in October, we do get some formations in the Western Caribbean. But with these cold fronts coming down, usually it always curves around, just like you saw with the precipitous water, and it could go along the East Coast, maybe a little bit of Bahamas and southern Florida. So we do need to keep our eye on these next 2 waves, because I'm still showing a lot of strength. So as you look at your potential velocity, your lift, your favorable environment, according to GFS, once you go from the 20th and on, we have a lot of favorable environment still coming our way, still a strong anomaly. So we do need to keep our eye on these next 2 waves. Now the Euro is showing it will strengthen up just like GFS is showing, but it's right around the 21st and 22nd, and then it's going to start strengthening up as you go towards the 25th. So we do need to watch these next two waves, but if you look at it, you see how it's a little bit to the east. So it's not going into our Gulf, but you can see it will be Eastern Caribbean and possibly the east coast of the U.S. So that's pretty much where these next two waves are going to be directing. Not towards the Gulf. The Gulf will be front induced lows. This energy is a little bit further to the east. And when you back up and look at the long range with the Euro, you can see that this lift does stick around all the way from the 21st all the way down to the beginning of November. So let's get past these next couple of waves coming through for our hurricane season. After that, we got some unfavorable environment and then some lift that's going to be in the Atlantic. So let's get past this, and then it should start milding down. But thank you so much for visiting my channel today. I do hope that this information has informed you and helped you in some way. If it has, please consider leaving a like. Let others know that they should take a look at the video. Thank you once again. Now today I want to read to you 2 Timothy chapter 4, verses 1 through 8. I charge thee, therefore, before God and the Lord Jesus Christ, who shall judge the quick and the dead at his appearing and his kingdom. Preach the word. Be instant in season, out of season. Reprove, rebuke. Exhort with all longsuffering and doctrine. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers, having itching ears. And they shall turn away their ears from the truth, and shall be turned unto fables. But watch thou in all things, endure afflictions, do the work of an evangelist, make full proof of thy ministry. For I am now ready to be offered, and the time of my departure is at hand. I have fought a good fight, I have finished my course, I have kept the faith. Henceforth there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, shall give me at that day. And not to me only, but unto all them also that love his appearing. Amen. Cannot wait for that day. Have a very blessed Wednesday out there, everybody. God bless you and your families. Thank you so much for your time today. All glory does go to God, our Father in heaven, as we wait for the day that the Lord appears and takes us home. Cannot wait for that day. Amen. Hallelujah. Even so, Lord, come.